Alright, welcome back everybody. Back into the shed. It's been probably a month since the last video. Might even be longer than that. Things have been busy for me. We decided to sell our house. So we've been doing open homes and that sort of drama. So things have been a bit busy. But anyway, in the meantime, if you check all the other socials, we had the motorcycle show on the weekend. And so what that meant was I took the bike up there, it was finished. So the frame's been powder coated, put back together, new bearings and that in the wheels and the swing arm and the likes. Forks were rebuilt. It's all rather boring stuff, so sorry if you wanted to watch that. But I got that stuff done. It was a bit of a mad rush before the show. And Emma painted the tank and the plastics on the bike, which looked incredible. So go and watch the latest Webisode on the Engine Blokes channel to see the bike and what's been done. I'll link it down in the description. But anyway, now, because the bike's still up in Auckland, I'm picking it up next week because I had to leave the show early. We are going to get into stripping the engine down. Yamaha has come to the table and said they're going to help us out with parts. So we're going to strip the engine down. And it's currently, so bear in mind that you should always work in a clean work environment. Don't look at that. But things are busy, like I said, so we're just going to make the best of it and get into it. Here's the engine. It is currently hiding under my welding glove. And I'm going to leave it on that trolley because it's blooming heavy, and we're going to strip it down. Okay, so one quick tip and trick that I would like to share with you guys is, I just went over to the Foursquare because I'd run out, well, more importantly, Amber had run out in the kitchen of Ziploc bags. So what you want to do is get yourself some Ziploc bags, or the cheap knockoff version. There's $5 for 60 of them, and all I do to keep my parts in check is I get a Sharpie, I write on the Ziploc bag, camshaft cover bolts, rocker cover bolts, end cap bolts, blah blah blah, and then I separate them into bags. It's just the easiest way for me to keep everything in order, and makes it super easy to put the bike back together. So without further ado, let's get into it. Okay, so first time looking inside the engine, we want to start looking for anything that could be a problem. So something we're checking is our cam lobes, that they're nice and smooth. See, they're nice and smooth, no gouging or anything, and we'll continue to check that underneath the caps as well, because quite often that's where camshafts will actually run is in there, and you'll actually see if there's been an lack of oil or something. You'll end up with scoring on the camshafts, and then we can already see this is the seal from under in here for our bolts. They're obviously knackered, so we're going to need some of those. They can go on the parts list. Yeah, so that's what we're checking under here. Cam chain here, so we've got obviously the double overhead cam. Now the other thing that we're going to do is, well, it's not so important. So it's not so important because we're fully stripping the engine down, but generally you would get the engine to top dead center, line up your timing marks, but if you're just pulling the head off. But because we're pulling the thing right down, it doesn't matter because we're going to have to retime it from scratch anyway. So the other thing to remember when you're pulling anything apart, pictures. You might think you remember, or something might come up. Oh, ant on my face. Something might come up, and the engine might not go back together for months. You might be waiting on parts. You might have an accident, blah blah blah. Take pictures. You can always look back on your phone, and you take it from all angles, because you might forget how certain gears go together, where the synchros go, that sort of stuff. So take pictures. So usually you would mark all your cam caps with, say, a dot punch or a scribe or something like that, something that can't be wiped off. But in this instance, if you look there, it's got a I for just there. It's got an I for intake and then the number 1. Intake 2. Intake 3. You get the idea. It's the same on the exhaust side, so you don't have to worry about that. Turns out my microphone wasn't plugged in during this video, so that's cool. But what you just witnessed was a struggle of a century to try and separate the barrel with the head on it from the case, and then trying to split the case, which you didn't see because it took hours and I skipped through that. But I'm going to show you why now, and that's because there is a hidden bolt underneath the oil pump. And you can see there, I cracked the housing because I pried and pried and pried thinking something was wrong, and something was wrong. Now when things are wrong, don't force them. Now I'm having some issues with my camera and transferring files to my computer. So I'm going to record this on my phone real quick, but what you saw there was a cracked housing, and it's been a while since that happened. We've been busy, as I said, moving houses and that, but I've had that housing fixed. An engineer mate of mine TIG welded that up, no worries at all, and then milled the case flat again where that was, so that's been no drama at all. But man, did I struggle to separate the head from the barrels. All of, you'll see when I assemble the engine, but where the head studs go down through the head was just all corroded and full of gunk and build-up, and so they were really holding the head together. But we won in the end. So anyway, stick around. I'm filming this from the future, about a year from when that video was taken originally, but I've been busy building both the workshop and the motorbike, so stick around, and pretty shortly you'll start seeing more build videos of the bike coming together, because, spoiler alert, we're about 2 months away from the show and the giveaway. See you next time.